Medina, Washington, autumn 2025. Fine mist-like rain slides silently down the surface of Lake Washington, blurring the distant Seattle skyline. The Whitmore's new mansion sits nestled among pine forests and 6 acres of manicured emerald lawn, like a modernist fortress of glass and steel wrapped in almost obscene wealth. The automated iron gates open only for facial recognition, and to anyone standing outside it looks like perfection. The happy family of tech billionaire Alexander Whitmore. Alexander, everyone calls him Alex, is 44, co-founder of Aurora AI, a company currently valued at over $180 billion. 3 years ago, he was the most broken man on earth when his wife Claire lost her battle with breast cancer. Claire left behind 2 children, Olivia then 5 years old, and Noah barely 10 months. For 6 straight months, Alex canceled every meeting, sleeping with his kids on hospital sofas, and later spent long nights alone in their old Capitol Hill house listening to the rain and wondering how to keep living. Then Madeline Harper appeared. Maddie, 34. Former lingerie model turned lifestyle influencer, with 4.2 million Instagram followers. She has shampoo commercial blonde hair, ocean blue eyes that know exactly how to stare down a lens, and a smile tabloids have dubbed the $1 million smile. They met at a charity auction in Los Angeles. Maddie wore white. She stood beside Alex when he dropped $1.2 million on a Basquiat. The photo of them that night went viral. Tech billionaire finds new light after tragedy. They married 10 months later. The wedding was on a superyacht in the Mediterranean. Guests were billionaires, A-list celebrities, and a handful of politicians. Olivia was the flower girl in pale pink, clutching white baby's breath. Noah spent the evening in Maddie's arms. The images flooded social media with the caption, "A new chapter begins, hearts." Whitmore. Family. Last October, the whole family moved to Medina. Alex wanted a fresh start. The old Seattle house held too many memories of Claire. He couldn't walk down a hallway without hearing her laughter echo from some room. The new estate was so large, it had an entire children's wing, playroom, schoolroom, and an English garden Maddie claimed she had dreamed of since childhood. At first, everything really was beautiful. Maddie posted breakfast photos at the 3-meter oak table, Alex beaming, Olivia sitting ramrod straight, like a tiny princess, Noah in a bear print bib. Caption, "Grateful for my little tribe every single morning." Blessed. Then the small things started. Olivia stopped talking about school. The 8-year-old who once chattered non-stop about friends and butterflies in the yard now only nodded or shook her head. Once Alex asked, "Anything fun at school today?" Olivia glanced at her stepmother for a split second, then whispered, "Nothing special, Daddy." Noah, the 4-year-old, who should have been the loudest creature in the house, started wetting the bed again, every single night. Maddie smiled gently, stroking her stepson's hair. "He's still little. He just needs time to adjust, honey." But Alex saw the way Noah looked at Maddie, not the way a child looks at a mother, but the way a small trapped animal looks at its cage. Alex told himself he was being paranoid. Work was crushing him. Aurora AI had just announced its new model stock, up 18% in a week. He flew to Shanghai, Tokyo, London non-stop. Every time he came home, Maddie greeted him at the door with a passionate kiss and the dizzying scent of Creed perfume. She'd place her hand on his chest. "We missed you so much." But the first night back from a 2-week trip to Zurich, Alex slipped into Olivia's room to kiss her goodnight. His daughter lay curled under the covers, eyes wide open in the dark. He whispered, "Daddy's home, sweetheart. Go to sleep." Olivia said nothing, just silently pulled up her pajama sleeve. On her pale arm was a long bruise, 5 distinct finger marks. I fell down the stairs, she said quickly before he could ask. That night, Alex lay awake beside Maddie. She slept peacefully, golden hair spilling across silk pillows, lips still curved as if smiling in her dreams. Outside, rain kept falling on the lake. For the first time in years, Alexander Whitmore felt his heart turn ice cold, not from missing Claire, but from a growing nameless fear maybe this house was no longer safe for his children. He didn't sleep at all that night. He lay still, listening to Madeline's even breathing, seeing only the 5 purple fingerprints on his daughter's skin. The next morning, while Maddie put the kids on the private school bus, black Mercedes Sprinter, dedicated driver Alex pretended to head to work as usual. But once the gates closed, he turned around and came home. He went straight to the 3rd floor to Olivia's room. On the wall still hung the painting Claire had made for her 5th birthday, a pink unicorn in a lavender field. But now it was slightly crooked, as if someone had yanked it. Under the bed, he found Olivia's favorite teddy bear, Mr. Brown shoved far back, ear torn, one button eye gouged out. Olivia had never been rough with her toys. In Noah's room, the hand-knitted blanket Claire made for her son lay discarded in a closet corner, replaced by a thin, pristine white one bearing some luxury brand logo. Noah had restarted thumb-sucking in his sleep, a habit he'd broken long ago. Down in the kitchen, the old cook Maria had quit 2 months earlier to take care of grandchildren. In her place was a new private chef hired by Maddie, who cooked only strict keto. The fridge no longer held whole milk cheese or the kids' beloved Oreos, just organic greens and paper-thin slices of Wagyu. Alex opened his phone, went to his wife's Instagram. Over 30 new stories from the week he was away, Maddie holding Noah with a flower filter. Maddie teaching Olivia how to pose in front of the mirror. Maddie with all 3 of them in matching white by the infinity pool caption, "My angels are learning discipline and grace hearts." Thousands of hearts, comments, perfect family mom goals, so inspiring. Alex closed the app, hands shaking. That afternoon, he called Olivia into his study, the only room in the house Maddie wasn't allowed to enter without him. He locked the door and knelt to her eye level. "Olivia, I need the truth. The bruise on your arm. Where did it come from?" She stared at the floor, twisting her fingers. After a long time, she whispered so softly, he had to lean in. "I broke Mommy Maddie's crystal glass. She said if I told you she'd send me to boarding school in Switzerland, and I'd never see you or Noah again." Alex felt the blood freeze in his veins. That night after the kids were asleep, he confronted Madeline in the master bedroom. "I think we should install cameras in the house," he said, trying to stay calm. "For safety." Madeline was applying La Mer to her throat, smiling at him in the mirror. "I don't like being watched in my own home, darling. Besides, we have Elena and the staff. What are you worried about Elena?" The new 29-year-old Filipina housekeeper, who always kept her eyes down around Maddie. Alex had never exchanged more than 3 sentences with her. The argument lasted half an hour. In the end, Madeline won as always with a sweet voice and teary eyes. "Don't you trust me, Alex?" 3 days later. Alex secretly hired a security firm to install tiny cameras in the hallway's playroom and children's bedrooms. That same night, when he opened the remote app from his office, every feed was dead. A message from the technician. "Someone disabled the entire system from inside the house, sir. We can't regain access." Alex knew exactly who. He hired the best private investigator in Seattle. 2 weeks of surveillance produced only photos of Madeline at spas, shopping in Bellevue, sipping cocktails with influencer friends. Not one picture included the children. The report concluded, no unusual behavior detected. Money can buy a lot of things, including silence. On the night of October 17th, Alex sat alone in his study until 3 a.m. 4th whiskey in hand, nursing an idea so insane he laughed at himself. If no one else could see the truth, he would become the eyes himself. The next morning, he called his personal lawyer Daniel Park, the man who had handled half the billionaire divorces in Washington state. Daniel, I want the entire current gardening team terminated. Reason restructuring. Give each of them 24-month severance. Then contact a landscaping company in Tacoma and have them send a temporary worker named Ethan Cole for 1 month. A long pause. Boss, I don't ask questions, but what exactly are you planning? Alex stared out the window. Rain still falling. I'm planning to be a father, Daniel. Whatever it takes. The following week passed like a meticulously planned nightmare. Alex flew to a theatrical makeup studio in Los Angeles, the one that works on Marvel films. They dyed his hair silver gray, glued on a real beard, used contacts to cloud his blue eyes. A dentist friend made him a set of slightly yellowed teeth. He learned a Midwest accent from a Chicago comedian over nightly Zoom calls. He dropped 13 pounds in 10 days to look gaunt. The last day before the transformation, while Madeline was at a perfume launch event, he went to Olivia and Noah's rooms and held them for a long time. Daddy has to go away on a work trip, he lied. But I promise I'll be very close the whole time. Olivia looked up at him, eyes brimming. Don't be gone long like last time, okay? Noah just clung to his neck without a word. That night in the secret apartment he had rented exactly 1.8 miles from the mansion, Alex stood in front of the mirror. He wore dark green work coveralls, a low-pulled baseball cap, thick glasses. The man staring back looked 15 years older, sullen, nameless, invisible. Alexander Whitmore was dead. From now on, there was only Ethan Cole, temporary gardener, $22 an hour. No benefits, no past. He slipped the second iPhone containing only a recording app and contact lens camera into his pocket and stepped out into the rain. The mansion gates opened for him once more, this time, not with facial recognition, but with a nod from the housekeeper to the new temp. Madeline didn't even glance at him. The game had begun. The first day Ethan Cole showed up in the garden, a cold drizzle was falling. He pushed the lawnmower across the back lawn, head down, shoulders, hunched like a middle-aged man, long accustomed to manual labor. No one paid him any mind. Security barely glanced at his badge before returning to basketball highlights on his phone. The house manager handed him a spare key and pointed toward the tool shed, keep it clean. No loud noises before 10 a.m. The lady of the house doesn't like it. Madeline left at 9:15 in her white Range Rover, huge sunglasses, high ponytail, live streaming to 120,000 viewers about a queen's morning routine. Ethan watched from a distance as she blew a kiss to the camera, then slammed the car door without looking back at the two children pressed against the first-floor window. Olivia and Noah were left with Elena, the petite Filipina housekeeper Ethan had only seen once in personnel files. Elena wore a gray uniform, hair in a low bun, always looking at the floor. Once Madeline's car disappeared, Ethan heard the electronic bolts on the main doors lock from afar. The house was officially sealed until 4 p.m. That was when everything truly began. 10:07 a.m. Ethan was trimming the hedge near the playroom window. Through the one-way glass, he saw Elena let the children out. Olivia wore a white Peter Pan collar dress, hair braided so tightly her scalp gleamed. Noah was in a white shirt and khaki shorts, looking like a display doll. Both stood perfectly still in the middle of the room, eyes on the floor. Madeline had left a 2-page instruction sheet taped to the fridge. Ethan managed to photograph it through the kitchen window. Enter 15:12:15. Olivia, piano, Beethoven. Für Elise, no wrong notes, 10:30 to 11:30. Noah, French lessons on iPad, no English allowed, 12:30's lunch, 100 g boiled chicken breast, plus 50 grams steamed broccoli. No seasoning, no snacks, no soda, no TV. One mistake equals no dinner. Elena read it, hands trembling slightly. She quietly tore off a tiny corner, scribbled something in pencil, and slipped it into Olivia's pocket. Ethan saw her lips move. Hang in there, just a few more hours. 11:42 a.m. Piano music drifted from the music room. Olivia repeated the final 8 bars of Für Elise. On the 17th try, she hit a wrong key. Ethan heard a sharp slap. The music room door flew open, not Elena's hand but Madeline herself, back early without anyone noticing. She was in tight workout gear, ponytail still high, eyes blazing. "How many times do I have to tell you?" Her voice cut like a knife. "One wrong note and you don't eat dinner. Want me to ship you off to boarding school in New Hampshire?" Olivia could only sob silently, afraid to wipe her tears, because it would smear the mascara Madeline had made her wear since morning. Ethan stood frozen behind the hydrangeas, knuckles white around the hedge clippers. It took every ounce of strength not to charge in. On the 3rd afternoon, the real nightmare revealed itself. Noah spilled water on the living room rug while reaching for a glass. He panicked and ran to Elena. Madeline materialized like a ghost, grabbed Noah by the hair, and yanked his head back. His scream of pain echoed through the house. "You little idiot! This rug is $42,000 a square meter." She dragged Noah into the windowless storage closet under the stairs. The staff jokingly called it the timeout room. The door slammed. The lock clicked. Noah's cries were muffled behind 2 inches of solid wood. Ethan stood in the hallway pretending to clean glass, shaking with rage. Through a narrow crack, he saw Elena on her knees, ear pressed to the door, tears streaming down her face. She whispered in Tagalog voice, breaking Noah, "I'm here. I'm right here." 15 minutes later, Madeline opened the door and pulled Noah out. The boy was chalk-white, lips blue, no longer able to cry. She smiled brightly and smoothed his hair. "There now, you'll be more careful next time, sweetheart." Then she took a selfie with the trembling child in her arms and posted it to her story. Caption, "Teaching my little man responsibility, hearts, at mom life." On the 4th night, Ethan discovered the children's secret paradise. While Madeline was out to dinner with friends, Elena quietly unlocked the children's wing. She pulled 2 chocolate cookies and a small carton of milk from inside her bra, hidden in her socks. Olivia and Noah fell on them like starving animals. Elena hugged them both, kissing their hair over and over, whispering, "Eat fast before Mommy Maddie smells chocolate." Noah ate and cried at the same time, milk running down his chin. "I miss Daddy." Olivia was different. The 8-year-old had already learned not to cry anymore. She just clutched Elena's hand and whispered, "Auntie Elena, if you get fired, we'll die." Elena froze, then held them tighter. From the bushes outside the window, Ethan recorded everything with his contact lens camera. He no longer knew if he was crying or if it was just rain in his eyes. Friday crossed every line. Madeline had booked a famous Los Angeles photographer for a family shoot. Olivia was forced to wear a floor-length white silk dress and stand in the rose garden in the drizzle. She shook with cold, but didn't dare speak. The photographer kept shouting, "Perfect natural beauty," while Madeline stood behind the camera, beaming. When it was over, Madeline dragged Olivia behind a hedge and slapped her hard across the face because the girl had accidentally stepped on the hem and torn it. "You useless brat, this dress cost $18,000. Olivia fell to the ground, knees bleeding. Ethan stood 5 meters away, holding a shovel, biting his lip until it bled to keep from moving. But then Elena appeared. She ran forward, knelt, wrapped Olivia in her arms, wiped the blood with her handkerchief, and for the first time Ethan had ever seen, looked Madeline straight in the eye. "Enough, ma'am," She's only 8. Madeline smirked, voice ice cold. Want to be deported to Manila next week. Your son's in the hospital, right? Shall I stop paying for that? Elena went rigid, but kept holding Olivia. That night in the secret apartment, 1.8 miles away, Alex sat in front of his laptop, reviewing every recording from the week. His eyes were bloodshot from lack of sleep, his hand clenched so hard, the whiskey glass shattered in his palm without him noticing. He opened a Word document titled Evidence. The cursor blinked. He typed the first line, Day 1, 11/07/2025, bruise in shape of 5 fingers on Olivia Whitmore's left arm, video 11:42. Madeline Whitmore slapping husband's daughter. Then, line 2, 3, 4. Hundreds of lines appeared, each one a fresh cut to his heart. Week 2 was about to begin, and this time Alex knew he couldn't wait any longer. Madeline had invited 50 VIPs to a season-end pool party, an extravagant display of her perfect family. It would be her final stage. Sunday, November 16, 2025. Rare, blazing sunshine in Seattle, temperature spiking to 64 degrees, making the infinity pool on the hillside glitter like a giant mirror. From 6 a.m., the event team had been setting up white tents fluttering in the breeze. Long tables draped in Italian linen, an ice bar with hundreds of bottles of Perrier Jouet Belle Époque, arranged in a heart shape. Hidden speakers played soft Norah Jones. The air was thick with Honduran orchids, and Creed Aventus sweet to the point of suffocating. Madeline had been planning this day for a month. It wasn't just an end-of-season pool party. It was a declaration: I now fully own the Whitmore family. 8:30 a.m. Ethan Cole. Alex was given his final task, rearrange 120 white linen sun loungers, so the embroidered M on each was exactly 3 centimeters apart. He worked slowly, he needed to stay all day. 9:15 a.m. Olivia and Noah were brought out to the stylists. Olivia wore a white Bondpoint 2-piece bikini with a long hand-embroidered voile cover-up hair in a high bun with white camellias. Noah wore matching white swim trunks and an open linen shirt, palm bead necklace. Both had been bathed in Dior milk wash, spritzed with Jo Malone bergamot, and drilled with one sentence only. You will only smile. You will not cry. You will say nothing except, I'm very happy, thank you. Madeline did a final mirror check in the hallway. White cutout Zimmermann bikini, 42-carat diamonds flashing at her throat, flat stomach. Despite claiming yoga 6 days a week, she turned to Elena, who was holding Noah. Remember, if anything today goes off script, you and your son in Makati will no longer have a hospital. Elena bowed her head, but gripped Noah tighter. 11:00 a.m. Guests began arriving. Bentleys, Rolls-Royces, Lamborghinis lined the circular drive. Billionaire wives, million-follower influencers, several Aurora AI investors, and a Vogue editor hunting the year-end cover. Drones circled overhead, live-streaming to 1.8 million viewers. Madeline stood at the entrance, kissing cheeks, perfect smile fixed in place. When someone gushed, "Your kids are adorable," she immediately dragged Olivia and Noah forward like living props. "Say hi to everyone, sweeties," Olivia forced the 8-tooth smile. Noah waved awkwardly, eyes red. 12:30 p.m. The buffet opened. Alaska King crab foie gras, beluga caviar. The children were each handed a small plate, 1 cucumber slice and 3 strawberries. Olivia stared at the guests' food and swallowed hard. Ethan stood 10 meters away, pretending to polish glasses, eyes never leaving his daughter. Then, the moment that nearly broke Alex happened. One of Madeline's friends, Taylor Brooks, 3.2 million followers, sat beside Olivia and stroked her hair. "You're so cute. Tell Auntie, what do you want most in the whole world?" Olivia glanced at her stepmother 3 meters away. She trembled, voice barely audible. I want pizza, and I want to hug my daddy." The table went dead silent for 1 second. Madeline spun around, smile frozen. She strode over, seized Olivia's wrist, and yanked. "She's joking. She just had a huge breakfast. Come on, let's get you changed." Olivia was dragged barefoot through the crowd, one sandal left behind. Noah burst into tears. Elena started forward, but was stopped by Madeline's shout, "Stay right there!" In the chaos, Elena slipped past Ethan and pressed a folded note into his hand. "Letter from Olivia to Daddy. She said if Daddy doesn't come today, she'll run away." Ethan opened his palm. A torn page of school notebook, shaky handwriting. "Daddy, I miss you so much, it hurts. Mommy, Maddie says you don't love us anymore because we're bad. We're not bad, Daddy. I just want to go back to the old house. Noah cries every night. I'm so scared. If you read this, please come save us. I love you most in the whole world. Olivia." Below the signature was a little red crayon heart, half blurred by tears. Ethan slipped the note into his work pocket, handshaking so badly he dropped the silver tray. He checked the time, 13:47. Enough evidence. It was time. 14:10. The big group photo began. Madeline arranged everyone around the infinity pool, she in the center, one arm around Noah, the other pulling Olivia close. The photographer shouted, "Everybody say Whitmore family." The instant the word family left his mouth, Ethan Cole stepped out from the service line. He walked straight into the middle of the crowd, unhurried. Whispers rose as the gardener lost his mind. He stopped 1 meter from Madeline. Slowly, he removed the thick glasses, then the fake beard, then the sweat-soaked cap. He ripped off the filthy green work shirt, revealing a perfectly pressed white Dolce & Gabbana underneath. Alexander Whitmore stood there under the fierce November sun, blue eyes cold as ice. The entire courtyard fell dead silent. Madeline's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Noah recognized him first. He screamed, "Daddy," and tore free of Madeline's arm, hurling himself into his father's embrace. Olivia froze for 2 seconds, then sobbed and wrapped her arms around his legs. Madeline staggered back, voice cracking Alex. "What the hell are you doing?" Alex didn't look at her. He knelt, kissed his children's hair, then rose, voice booming across the courtyard like thunder. "You are all witnessing a stepmother who has abused my children for months. And today I end it. Right here. Right now." He raised his hand. The giant LED screen meant for family slideshows flickered, then began playing. First clip, Madeline slapping Olivia for missing a piano note. The sharp slap echoed in total silence. Next, Noah locked in the dark closet, screaming until his voice gave out. Next, Madeline pinching Olivia's ear until it bled, then immediately smiling for an Instagram photo. Dozens of videos, photos, and audio recordings played for 7 minutes that felt like a century. Guests backed away. Some covered their mouths. Some wept openly. One mother hugged her own child and sobbed. Taylor Brooks screamed at Madeline, "You sick monster!" Madeline went ash-white, clutching a decorative palm to stay upright. She stammered, "It's edited, deepfake. You paid someone." Alex laughed scornfully and held up an iPad displaying digital signatures and seals from the world's top cybersecurity firm, certifying every file 100% authentic. Then he spoke word by word, so the entire courtyard heard Madeline Harper from this second. "Forward, you are nothing in this house. The divorce papers are already signed by me and a federal judge. You will never see my children again without supervision. Security. 6 men in black suits appeared instantly from both sides and seized Madeline's arms. She shrieked and thrashed mascara running in black rivers. "Alex, you can't do this. I have rights. I'm your wife." Alex spoke his final sentence cold enough to freeze bone. "You were never their mother." Madeline was dragged out the main gates to booze curses and the flash of dozens of phones live streaming her downfall. The gates slammed shut. In the courtyard, only the sound of 2 children crying and the applause of former guests, now witnesses, remained. Alexander Whitmore dropped to his knees and held Olivia and Noah as tightly as he could, letting them cry out every tear they had been forced to swallow for months. Above them, the November sun still blazed, but this time it was truly warm. The heavy iron gates slammed shut behind Madeline with the finality of a gunshot. In the courtyard, Norah Jones no longer played. The shrill laughter of wealthy wives had vanished. All that remained was the raw, wrenching sobbing of Olivia and Noah, echoing across the vast space and the ragged breathing of 50 people who had just watched a nightmare switched on in broad daylight. Alex stayed on his knees, arms locked around his children so tightly, it was as if he feared they might dissolve if he let go. Olivia buried her face in his chest, tears soaking the white shirt. Noah could manage only one word repeated like a broken record. "Daddy. Daddy. Daddy." Alex kissed their hair, then lifted his head. His eyes were red, but his voice was terrifyingly calm. Everyone, he said, loud enough for the entire courtyard to hear, "I'm sorry I turned your party into a public trial. But I ran out of choices. What you just saw on that screen is a tiny fraction of what my children endured while I was busy building a company and believing money could buy happiness." An older woman, the wife of an investment partner, stepped forward, tears cutting tracks through thick makeup. "Alex, my God, we had no idea. If we'd known sooner—" "No one knew," Alex cut in, voice hoarse, "because I let a monster pretend too well." He stood Noah in one arm, Olivia's hand gripped tightly in the other. Then he turned toward Elena, the small Filipina housekeeper, standing huddled in the corner, hands clasped, face ghost white. Elena Cruz. She flinched and dropped to her knees out of instinct, the way many Filipinos do when terrified. "Sir, I'm sorry. I couldn't protect them enough." Alex walked over and gently raised her to her feet. For the first time that afternoon, his voice shook. "No, Elena. You were the only one who protected them. Every single day I couldn't." He faced the stunned crowd again. "This woman secretly fed my children when they were starved. She held them when they were locked in the dark. She wiped the blood from Olivia's knees when I wasn't there. She did all of it knowing that one slip would cost her job, her visa, and the medicine for her 6-year-old son fighting cancer in Manila." Alex pulled a thick folder from his jacket and held it up. "These are papers enrolling Elena Cruz and her son Miguel in the Whitmore family's special permanent residency sponsorship program. As of today, Elena is no longer domestic help. She is the children's second legal guardian, with a salary 5 times her current one, an indefinite contract, and lifetime medical coverage for Miguel paid in full by me." Elena collapsed. She covered her face and sobbed in a mix of Tagalog and English. "Salamat. Salamat po. Thank you, sir. I don't know what to say." Olivia broke free from her father and flung herself at Elena. Noah wriggled down and toddled after her, wrapping his arms around Elena's legs. The 3 of them, 1 adult, 2 children, stood in the middle of the courtyard, crying the way they had never been allowed to before. Scattered applause began, then swelled into a roaring wave. Someone shouted, "You're a hero!" Elena, the drones were still live now, over 4 million viewers. Comments scrolled white across the screen, justice for Olivia and Noah. Dad of the year, protect Elena at all costs. Alex let them cry, then gently lifted Elena and the children to their feet. He looked straight into the dozens of phone cameras still rolling. I made this public today not for revenge. I did it so the world knows no amount of money or fame is worth trading for a child's safety. And if you're watching this stream while your own child is being hurt by anyone, speak up. Today I spoke for Olivia and Noah. He paused, took a deep breath. One final announcement. He raised a hand. Security opened the main gates again. 2 unmarked King County Sheriff SUVs rolled quietly inside. No lights, no sirens. Everything had been arranged days ago. Madeline Harper is being taken into custody for investigation of child abuse and assault. All evidence has been delivered to the U.S. Attorney's Office. You won't be seeing any more police this morning. Applause erupted again, this time mixed with cheers. Alex crouched, whispering into Olivia's and Noah's ears. Daddy promised he'd protect you, didn't he? Olivia nodded, the first real smile in months breaking across her face. Noah raised both hands, voice thick but radiant. Daddy, I want pizza. The entire courtyard burst into tearful laughter. Alex kissed his son's forehead, then turned back to the guests, who were now entirely on his side. Anyone still here is welcome inside. Pizza will arrive in 30 minutes. Today we're not eating foie gras. Today we eat pizza, drink Coca-Cola, and celebrate the day my children became free. Cheers exploded again. 30 minutes later, the courtyard smelled of hot pepperoni. 3 Domino's trucks were parked at the gate. Guests' kids ran wild. Olivia sat on her father's lap, cheese smeared across her chin, eyes squinted shut from laughing. Noah held a slice bigger than his face sauce all over his cheeks. Elena sat beside them, eating pizza for the first time, without hiding, tears still falling, but mouth smiling. The giant LED screen stayed on, but now it showed only one message in white on blue. Olivia and Noah are safe. Thank you for standing with us. Under the late November sun, the Whitmore family, now truly just 3 plus a second, mother named Elena, sat together eating pizza, talking, laughing, and for the first time in far too long, unafraid. The nightmare was over. Dawn had finally come. 3 weeks after November 16th. Medina, Washington officially entered winter. The persistent drizzle stopped, replaced by morning fog and a pleasant, crisp chill. The Whitmore mansion no longer echoed with electronic locks when Madeline came home, no longer had 2-page instruction sheets taped to the fridge, no longer rang with Für Elise played until madness. Instead, it rang with laughter. The first day after Madeline was gone, Alex canceled all work until the new year. He turned off both work phones and kept only one number for the kids and Elena. Santa came early that year. 30 different pizzas were ordered in the first week alone. Olivia ate until her belly was round and rolled on the living room rug, giggling. I'm not scared of being locked up anymore. Noah discovered a new joy, dipping his whole hand in sauce and printing red handprints on the kitchen wall. Alex didn't clean them off. He photographed them, printed them large, and hung them with the caption, Noah's first artwork as a free boy, 2025. They all slept in the same room the first week. The king bed and the master got 2 extra mattresses dragged in. Olivia slept between Daddy and Noah, clutching Alex's pajama shirt as if he might disappear. Every time Noah wet the bed, Alex silently carried him to the bathroom, changed clothes and sheets, then held him again. Not one word of scolding. On the 8th night, Noah woke in the dark and shook his father. Daddy, I didn't pee the bed. Alex kissed his forehead. Good job, buddy, and cried quietly so no one would see. Elena moved upstairs permanently. The old staff room was turned into a pretty little suite double-bed 65-inch TV, a desk with a beautifully framed photo of Miguel, her son. Every night, she video-called Manila. 6-year-old Miguel, thin from chemo, laughed for the first time in months when he saw his mother in a bright room with Olivia and Noah waving Oreos behind her. "Mommy, when can I come to America? Soon, baby. Very soon." Alex had kept his word. Expedited sponsorship papers were already filed. Miguel would fly to Seattle right after his final round of chemo in February. Therapy started the second week. The top child psychologist on the West Coast, Dr. Rachel Kim, came to the house 3 times a week. At first, Olivia said nothing, only drew black and red pictures of faceless people. On the 4th session, she drew one last picture, a golden house under sunshine, 4 people holding hands, tall Daddy, Olivia, Noah, and Elena. In the bottom right corner, a blonde woman was crossed out with thick black marker. Olivia handed it to Dr. Kim and said, "Small, but certain, I never want to see Mommy Maddie again. Ever." Dr. Kim nodded and looked at Alex. He simply signed the permanent no-contact order with a sad smile. Meanwhile, Madeline had been released on bail after 72 hours ankle monitor glowing. She hired the most expensive lawyers in America. But the evidence was overwhelming: videos, audio, old injuries documented by Seattle Children's Hospital, testimony from Elena and from Olivia herself recorded with a guardian present. Trial was set for March. She would almost certainly lose everything: custody, marital assets, reputation. Her Instagram had plummeted from 4.2 million followers to 112,000 overnight. Every brand deal canceled. But inside the Whitmore house, her name was never spoken again. Thanksgiving was celebrated their own way. No big party, no guests. Just 4 people, Alex, Olivia, Noah, and Elena. Red checkered tablecloth, an 11-pound turkey in the center that Alex roasted himself, first time he'd ever carved meat. Olivia mashed potatoes with obscene amounts of butter and cream. Noah's job was taste-testing everything. Elena made Filipino lumpia and a sweet-sour dipping sauce the kids begged for seconds of, even when stuffed. When they sat down, Alex stood and raised his glass of sparkling apple cider. "This year, I'm not thankful for turkey or money. I'm thankful for the 3 people at this table. Thank you, Elena, for being their guardian angel when their father was too blind to see. Thank you, Olivia, for having the courage to write that letter. And thank you, Noah, for reminding me every single day what real love looks like." Olivia blushed and looked down. Noah raised his milk glass and shouted, "Cheers!" They clinked. Crystal rang clear and true. That night, for the first time in nearly a year, Olivia opened the piano on her own. She did not play Fur Elise. She played Ben Howard's Heart, the lullaby Alex used to sing when they were tiny. Every note perfect, but this time no one forced her. She played because she wanted to. When the final chord faded, she turned and gave her father the brightest smile he had seen in months. Alex sat on the sofa, tears sliding silently down his sweater. Healing didn't happen in a day. Some nights Olivia woke screaming from dreams of the dark closet. Some mornings Noah still checked whether the front door was locked before daring to leave his room. But every time 3 people were there: Daddy, sibling, Auntie Elena. And every time they held each other a little longer. December arrived. They decorated a 4-meter Christmas tree together. Olivia chose the gold star for the top. Noah hung only red and green ornaments because they look like pepperoni. Elena quietly added a small Belen nativity scene from the Philippines under the tree. Alex watched them laughing, then silently hung a silver-framed photo in an empty spot, the only picture of Claire he had kept taken the day Noah was born, exhausted but radiant in his arms. "Mommy is still here with us," he whispered. Olivia nodded and touched the photo. Noah asked the most childlike question of all. "Daddy, next year, can we have pizza on Christmas Eve?" Alex laughed through sudden tears and scooped his son up. Not just next year, every year, forever. The storm had passed. The scars remained, but they were healing one day, one hug, one laugh at a time. And the huge mansion in Medina, Washington, had finally truly become a home. Medina, Washington. Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2026. Snow falls gently outside the windows, the first real white Christmas Seattle has seen in a decade. Delicate flakes drift down over the Norwegian pines that surround the mansion, turning the entire garden into a living Christmas card. Inside, the birch logs in the fireplace crackle softly, filling the air with the scent of cinnamon and roasted oranges. Children's laughter rings out without end. The 4-meter Christmas tree blazes with lights. At the very top sits the gold star Olivia made last year, now refreshed with a new layer of glitter. Beneath it lies a mountain of presents, big boxes, small boxes, red and green, wrapping, glittering ribbons. But the greatest gift of all isn't under the tree. It's sitting right on the white shag rug, wearing a reindeer Christmas sweater, grinning from ear to ear as Noah tackles him in a wrestling match. Miguel Cruz, the 6-year-old Filipino boy who once lay in a hospital bed fighting cancer, is now healthy cheeks, rosy black curls bouncing, shrieking with delight every time Noah pins him. He and his mother officially became U.S. citizens last March. Miguel calls Alex Daddy Alex and Olivia Eight Big Sister in the Filipino way. He no longer remembers the hospital days. He only remembers that he has a huge, loud, loving family. Olivia, now 9.5, has shot up almost to her father's shoulder. Her long hair is in a high ponytail, and she's at the piano playing a slow jazz version of All I Want for Christmas Is You simply because she feels like it. Every few bars she winks at Elena, who is carrying in a tray of hot cocoa topped with melting marshmallows. Alex sits on the big sofa, one arm around Noah, the other holding his cocoa eyes, never leaving the scene in front of him. He's 45 now, silver threading his temples, but his smile has grown 10 years younger. Above the fireplace hangs a huge new photo, the 5 of them from last summer in Hawaii. Alex, Olivia, Noah, Elena, and Miguel, standing on white sand, arms around each other, laughing under the sun. There are no longer any wedding photos of Madeline in the house. In May, she was sentenced to 18 months probation and 800 hours of community service. Alex didn't attend the final hearing. He simply sent a bouquet of white lilies to Claire's grave with a short note. "I kept my promise to protect them." 11:55 p.m. Olivia stops playing, runs over, and tugs her dad's hand. "Daddy, 5 minutes until Christmas is official, pizza first or presents first." Alex throws his head back and laughs, sets Noah down, stands up, and claps once. New Whitmore family rule: Christmas Eve is pizza only. No turkey, no salad, no keto ever. Everyone cheers. Elena shakes her head, still smiling, and hurries to the kitchen to bring out 5 steaming extra-large boxes, 1 pepperoni, 1 Hawaiian, 1 4-cheese, 1 bacon, and 1 special tomato-free pie, just for Miguel because of his allergy. They plop down on the rug, no table, no placemats. Noah grabs a slice bigger than his face sauce smeared across his nose. Olivia sneaks extra cheese into Miguel's mouth. Elena snaps photos, non-stop tears of joy shining in her eyes. Midnight strikes. Church bells in the distance ring 12 times. Snow keeps falling outside. Alex dims the main lights, leaving only the glow from the fireplace and the tree. He pulls all 4 of them into his arms and holds them tight. "Merry Christmas, my babies." Olivia rests her head on his shoulder and whispers, "You really are a superhero, Daddy, even if you looked ridiculous in that gardener outfit." Noah chimes in. I liked Gardener Daddy better. That's how you found us. Miguel looks up, eyes wide. Daddy Alex, next year, can we eat pizza all day on Christmas? Alex laughs loudly and plants a loud kiss on the boy's cheek. Every single year for the rest of our lives, son. Elena quietly wipes her eyes, then lifts the camera for one final shot, 5 people in the firelight, surrounded by the smell of pizza laughter, falling snow, and scars that have finally healed into faint lines. That photo will later be printed large and hung right inside the front door, so every person who walks in sees the small engraving beneath the frame. Here, no child is ever left behind again. Whitmore Cruz family, Christmas 2026. Outside, the snow keeps falling. Inside, the great mansion in Medina has finally truly become a home, not because of its glass walls or infinity pool, but because the people within it have chosen to love one another even after being hurt to the very core. The story of the gardener Ethan Cole ended long ago, but the story of Daddy Alex, big sister Olivia, little brother Noah, Auntie Elena, and baby Miguel has only just begun. And they know that from now on, every day will feel like Christmas.